Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning. It's December 8th, and we got some games to talk about. Um, Hope the camera angle is a little bit better today. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come. We'll try it out. All right, so here we go with the couple games we're just highlighting. Um, you want a 10-minute misconduct? Go here. Uh, okay, so the game itself, Cameron Clark with a hat trick for the Binghamton Black Bears. They avenged their previous night's loss to Port Huron with a 5-2 win. Um, Nolan Egbert, back-to-back starts, had a much better performance Saturday night. Uh, it was Valtteri Nusiainen in goal uh, for the Prowlers, and he just didn't really get a whole lot of defensive support. A couple of the goals that ended up going behind him, I couldn't pin on him. Um, so it's Kyle Stefan getting a shorty at 9:04 of the second. That's the game winner. That's the third goal for the Black Bears. Um, Attendance 39.82, and the shots, it was 16-5 in favor of Binghamton that first period. Yeah, it took a little while for the Prowlers to get going. Um, the big thing, the problem was Bill Lyons specifically. Christopher So, the other referee, but you don't manage a game by handing everyone a 10-minute misconduct for just the littlest thing, and that's what happened. 12 misconducts handed out last night. Most of them were not worthy of a misconduct. I don't know if Bill Lyons was suffering from Paul Gene disease or what, but a referee should not have that much influence in a game. Uh, that's all I'll say. All right, so so Egbert gets the win, Nusian in the loss, and so Binghamton now 14-3-1, and the Prowlers 7-9-2. Um, for the hat tricks, where has the defense gone for the Rockers again? Uh, we're back to where we were about 4 weeks ago, where Gonzalez was standing on his head and coming up on the short end because when you face 60 plus shots a game, a couple are going to get by you most likely, and that's the way that it happened again. I feel like Ricardo Gonzalez is kind of a sacrificial lamb for the Rockers, and it's kind of sad to see that because there is talent on the team, especially in a defense, but there's just no commitment to defense. And that's a scary thing. In the meantime, hey, good on Danbury. They took advantage of the opportunity to pour on the shots. Pour them on, they did. This is the second time in the 4 meetings that these two teams have had that the hat tricks have been able to cross the 60 shots on goal threshold. Incredible. It's the Russians again. The Russians are making all the difference for Danbury. It's Vadim Frolov with a power play goal, 9:21 of the third period to break a 2-2 tie, and that was the game winner. Van Durkin had a goal. Gonzalez had a couple of assists. The Russians are leading the way for the hat tricks, who are now 7-5-4, and the Rockers fall to 6-10. Attendance 760, a little better than Friday, but there's no reason you can't get 1,000 fans. 1,000 plus fans in the Big Boy on a weekend. I mean, I know the Red Wings are not too far away, but yeah, come on, it's a lot cheaper than going to a Red Wings game. I can tell you that. So yeah, for the for the hat tricks, 23 shots on goal in the first period, 24 in the second. It's just, wow. So Gonzalez ends up saving 58 of 62 in 58-33 in a tough loss. And Connor McCollum gets the win for the hat tricks. Yeah, and nothing really to say here. All right, let's change boards. Eventually, I'm going to have a little tripod and remote control, so I don't have to do that. So look a little more professional, I guess. All right. Yeah, this ended up being quite the game. And again, it was Carolina getting out to a fast start, relatively fast. But yeah, Baton Rouge, to their credit, they clawed their way back and made it a game. Starting goaltenders, Billy Stevens for the Zydeco, and I feel that you know, he played a lot better than an L would suggest. Mario Cavallari, um, he's doing Cavallari things, lowers his GAA over the course of the weekend, which I just find incredible. So yeah, the Zydeco still holding on the first, but it's a lot tighter now. Wait till you see Stars and Standings tomorrow, and you see the log jam up at the top of the Continental Division. Very interesting. All right, so in this game, it is Gus Ford getting on the board first, 9:19 of the first period. Um, and we would talk about Ford later on. Um, let's see, it was one period and a minute 20 later, so it's 21:20. It's Peter Panicek getting on the board, and it's 2-0. So again, back nights that Carolina went out to a 2-0 lead, but the Zydeco ended up clawing their way back in. Which I have to remember to mention something from Friday's game. Okay, Kevin Savad scores 5:31 in the third period. So yeah, Baton Rouge starting to come back. Savad had a great weekend. Played very well. So we get to the last minute, and Bailey Stevens is pulled, and sure enough, it's Dmitry Kuznetsov scoring. 1945 sneaks one past Cavallari. So we go to the shootout. The shots in the shootout were 3-1 in favor of the Zydeco, but their shots were, yeah. But I tell you what, the one shot that the Carolina got, it was amazing save by Bailey Stevens to keep the Zydeco in it to get to the shootout. So in the shootout, nothing in the first round, second round. You know who you're going to see in the second round. It's going to be Kuznetsov. He gets stopped, and Ford, he converts. So Ford probably the best player in the shootout talent competition in the league. Yep, he gets the puck past Stevens, and then save in the third. So that's it. It's a 3-2 win for the Thunderbirds. They improved to 10-1-3. The Zydeco are 12-5-2 now, but still narrowly holding on to that first place spot. Yeah, Elijah Wilson had 2 assists on the weekend for the Zydeco. Kuznetsov with that key goal. And the team just couldn't get over the hump. Stevens saves 37 of 39, so he had a very good night. Plus, he made 2 stops in the shootout. For the Thunderbirds, it's Ford with a goal, and then the shootout winner, and Peter Panicek, he had 2 assists. Cavallari stopping 36 of 38, and then we give him all 3 saves in the shootout. So both goaltenders made 39 stops over the course of the night. Good crowd of 29,52 on hand. To get back to Friday night, a lot of people ask me what happened at the end there with the save by Clay Keeley in the dying seconds of Friday night's game looked like from the Facebook or the YouTube, excuse me, the YouTube stream angle that the puck crossed the line. Of course, we didn't have access to the goal review system. Turns out neither did the officials. And this is a little concerning. Um, so Everett Thompson used his challenge, said, I want to challenge that. I want to, you know, I want to say it was a goal because it was ruled no goal on the ice. So the officials go to the box to look at it and realize that the camera system had malfunctioned. I have this from inside information, very reliable too. So basically, the officials came out and said, sorry, we can't check this. We're not going to assess you a 2-minute delay of game penalty because you weren't able to officially challenge because we weren't officially able to check it out. Yeah, that's a problem. And hopefully it's a one and done with that system. Hopefully Carolina gets that system fixed. But yeah, there you go. So, little tap back there. All right, getting back to last night, the Columbus River Dragons. They continue to climb up in the standings as they get a 3-1 win over Mississippi. This is kind of like what we've been expecting these matchups to be like in between these two teams. In that Columbus is doubling up the shots. There's not much offense from Mississippi. Not much offense generated. So starting goaltenders are Ed Coffey, and boy, I tell you what, he kept this down to 3 goals. The saves he made is probably the best goaltending performance of the weekend. And Tom Callahan on the call for the River Dragons just said, this is the reason why Mississippi has hope is because Ed Coffey's in goal, because he can make saves that keep you in the game and help you steal a game. Right, he was. In the first period, it is Stephen Klink scoring at the 4:12 mark, and on the ensuing faceoff, it was kind of funny. He and Blake Keller start doing a little tit for tat behind the official waiting to drop the puck. So those two wanted to go, and after the play develops, Klink kind of curls around. Keller goes in the opposite direction, not running away, but he was pursuing the puck. Philip Long decided to meet up with Klink, and the two of them went. So in the span of 2 seconds, Klink was 2/3 of his way onto a Gordie Howe hat trick. However, he never got the assist later on. Then the glass behind the goal came out. They had to work on that, and that was a lengthy delay. Yeah. Okay, so 9:15, Ryan Galvin scores on a beautiful tip-in. That ends up being the game-winning goal. In the second, Columbus adds to their lead. It's Ryan Hunter scoring in a 4-on-4 situation at 12:05, because I don't have my glasses on. And so it's 3-0 Columbus. In the meantime, Mississippi had gotten 10 shots on goal in the first period, but they wouldn't even reach that for the remainder of the 40 minutes. 4 shots on goal in the second, 4 in the third. Yeah, we're back to that Mississippi team. So they've got to figure out how to generate more offense, get more time in the offensive zone. Third period, a little bit of a fluky bounce. Noah Hipla-Smith gets kind of a crazy bounce, scores at 9 seconds into the third. That's the only puck that got past Sammy Bernard. He had a great night. In making the saves that he had to make. He wasn't very busy, but when he did have action in his crease, he took care of business. So 3-1 is our final. So Mississippi now 3-13-1. Columbus improves to 10-2-3 and is just 1 point behind the Zydeco. Smaller crowd, 2340. That's to be expected because the Georgia Bulldogs played, SEC playoff game, all that. So, yeah, Hippolyte Smith with a goal for the Seawolves. Ed Coffey stops 36 of 39 in 58-57 played. Sammy Bernard saves 17 of 18. All right, so then we had my pages are all over the place here. The Venom traveling up to Watertown to take on the Wolves. Of course, this game was supposed to be in Hudson Valley. We've covered that ad nauseum. We're not going to get into that. Venom looked a little better prepared to play, but of course they're taking on a top-notch offensive team in Watertown. Watertown leading the league still with goals scored per game. So it is John Moriarty in goal for the Venom. It's Anton Borodkin for the Wolves. So yeah, Borodkin getting another start, and in the first period, it is all Watertown. It is Carter Thornton scoring on a rebound, and what's that? 5:27 of the first. He gets the scoring started, and 5 minutes later, it's Michael Mercurio scoring, and a couple of defensive breakdowns by the Venom back there, who were without Dustin Jasso. Jasso did not travel with the team, so yeah, you're already losing a third of your really potently offensive line. So, that kind of put the Venom behind the eight ball a little bit. The Wolves took care of what they needed to take care of with defense, but Mark Pozar does end up sneaking a puck through, and literally sneaking a puck. I mean, the puck barely crossed the line, but it crossed. So it counts. So that's a 13-11 of the second period to get the Venom to within one. However, Carter Thornton answers at 17:25. He takes a shot. Juicy rebound given up. He gets his own rebound and puts it home. And that's a second of the night. Makes it 3-1 Watertown. Going into the third, it's Ross Bartlett scoring for the Wolves. And that really kind of gave the Wolves a big cushion. 16 seconds later, though, Mantis Noriega, he ends up scoring the counter to keep the Venom in it, which it was good to see Noriega come back. In the second period, he ended up trying to deliver a check and just ended up falling awkwardly and getting hurt, and he went off the ice. Thankfully, he only missed one shift. But yeah, I thought, I commented in the YouTube chat, if Norick is done, the Venom are cooked. But he did come back and ended up scoring, in the third period. But that was it. That was it for the Venom. The Wolves hold on for a 4-2 win. For the Venom, it's Pozar and Noriega with the goals. Of course, Moriarty stopping 30 of 34. And for the Wolves, Carter Thornton has 2 goals. You have 2 assists from Ludwell Harris Jr. and 2 assists from Trevor Lord. Borodkin stops 29 of 31 and gets his 10th win of the season here in early December. Shots 34 for the Wolves, 31 for the Venom. The Venom are now 4-7-1. The Wolves improved to 11-3-1. All right. And the final game of the night out in Danville, and just it was just a little too late for the Dashers to come back, but they gave it a go. They're playing much more competitively the last few games, and that's good to see. It is the Moccasins starting Marcus Ekholm-Rosen versus Parker Rutherford for the Dashers in goal, and it was another game. It was kind of like Danbury, where it just shots and shots and shots and shots. Danbury Danville, just hanging on for dear life. The Dashers trying to stem the tide. the flurry of offense that came from the Moccasins. 55 shots on goal. That is now a franchise record. That's the first time they've crossed the 50 shot plateau. 23 of those shots in the first period, 21 in the second. So, yeah, it was early and often for the Moccasins, but Rutherford kept the Dashers in the game. Declan Conway did score at 9:14 of the first, uh, but that was countered at 15:51 by Brandon Stoshevsky, who, yeah, he was Mr. Dasher this last weekend. He gets on the board. But then power play situation, it's Trevgay Many Guns scoring. Yep, Many Guns can score goals, and he did. And so he gets the power play goal at 16:32 to give the Moccasins the 2-1 lead after 20 minutes. We go into the second, and it is Joan Davis tying things up. A shorthanded situation. The Dashers had just had a man put in the box. He scores a 14-14. However, Declan Conway scores on that same power play sequence to kind of counter that, puts the Moccasins back up. That's a 14:59. Later in the period, it's Dale Dion getting his first goal of the year. Dion, of course, he's played in the Fed before, but it's been a few years, and he comes in and chips in very nicely. So it's 4-2 at the end of two. We get to the third period. Nick Gullo scores in the power play to get the Dashers back in it. And try as they may, they just couldn't get that fourth goal last night. But their overall play, as the game wore on, the Dashers' play was better. So, moral victory, even though, they end up dropping the game, they're playing better. And that's a good thing. So for the game, yeah, we have Dale Dion with a goal and an assist on the night for the Moccasins as they end up taking the win and improving to 8-7-4. Declan Conway, 2 goals. Miniguns, a goal and an assist. And Declan Rosenstock, 28 of 31. For the Dashers, who fall to 11-13-2, they have a goal from Joan Davis, the goal and an assist. Nick Gullo, also a goal and assist, and Rutherford, just another typical Parker Rutherford performance. He stops 51 shots, does what he needs to do. He just needs more defensive help. That's 59-22 time on ice. Crowd of 614 on hand. So there you go. There is the weekend. We will be talking about Stars and Standings tomorrow. We'll give you our top 5 performers of the week, as well as looking at the updated standings. Of course, I do it in much more simplified form than what you see on the Fed website. So hopefully that makes it a little easier to read. And then Tuesday, we're going to be getting into some news and notes on the Flash Audio Network, talking about a lot of interesting things going on behind the scenes. Not all good news, unfortunately, but developing stories that we will fill you in on there. So make sure that you're tuned into that. Thank you so much for watching the videos and for your support. Make sure to hit like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you're following me on Facebook, because that's where everything gets tied in. Everything kind of links into Facebook, and I spend the most time there. Keep it as up to date as I can on everything going on in the Fed. All right, I'm Gary Ryan. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the weekend and a great week ahead.